What could happen to Gene Hackman's $80 million fortune? His 3 children are getting ready for a fight after being left out of his will. Family is everything for Gene Hackman. His kids were left out of his will. So here's what could happen to his $80 million fortune. Guys, this is a bit of a strange story. Gene Hackman was a legendary name in Hollywood with a career that lasted decades. Now, a shocking revelation has come to light that raises questions about his last wishes, and the reports say that Hackman's children may not be included in his will, leaving many people to wonder what will happen next. When a famous person dies, there are often family arguments and court cases. With millions of dollars at stake, emotions can run high and sudden decisions are made. Did Hackman have a reason for this choice, or was it the result of something more complex? A lack of heirs in a will can lead to a complicated legal process, with courts deciding how to distribute the estate. When a fortune like this is at stake, the outcome can't be predicted. Will his estate be distributed exactly as he wanted, or will problems arise? What happens when loved ones are left out of a will? Who, besides his children, might stand to inherit such a significant legacy? Stay tuned as we explore the possibilities behind this unfolding story. Gene Hackman's unstoppable rise from Marine to Hollywood legend. Gene Hackman was born on January 30, 1930 in San Bernardino, California. Hackman would eventually become associated with Hollywood greatness, but before the Oscars and famous roles, his life was anything but glamorous. Hackman's story is one of resilience and determination, marked by early challenges that shaped his unwavering spirit. He grew up in a working-class family and had a rough childhood. The problems he faced during those formative years would later fuel his drive to succeed even when the odds were against him. At age 16, Hackman made a brave decision that would have a huge impact on his life. In 1946, Hackman joined the U.S. Marine Corps and served his country while stationed in different parts of the world. The military gave him structure, discipline, and a sense of purpose. But Hackman wasn't happy with the routine of military life. Deep down, he had dreams that went far beyond the barracks. When he finished his service, he set his sights on a new goal: becoming an actor. With little money but a strong will, he took the first step toward his dream, eager to learn how to do it. The prestigious Pasadena Playhouse School of Theater was known for turning out some of Hollywood's best actors, but Hackman's experience there was anything but positive. He didn't look like the typical leading man, while many of his classmates were praised for their polished performances and good looks. Hackman's rough appearance and unique style made him stand out, but it wasn't in a good way. He was constantly criticized. At one point, his peers even voted him the least likely to succeed. Imagine being told you'd never make it by people who are chasing the same dream as you. For most people, that would be the end of their dreams, but not Hackman. Instead of giving up, he used the harsh criticism to fuel his determination. He wasn't alone in his struggle. While he was at the Pasadena Playhouse, he made friends with Dustin Hoffman, another aspiring actor. The two became close because they both wanted to be actors. After being rejected and made fun of, both were determined to show their critics they were wrong, and that determination would get them through the hardest times. After leaving the Pasadena Playhouse, Hackman had to face the harsh reality of breaking into Hollywood without a guaranteed path to success. He took on a series of odd jobs to support himself. From working as a doorman to hauling furniture, he did whatever it took to stay afloat. The road was long and the rejections were constant. Casting directors often threw him out because he couldn't do the job. Hackman had a tough exterior, but he never lost sight of his goal. Every small role he got, whether in theater or on TV, was a step forward. It wasn't glamorous, there were no red carpets or flashing cameras. He just worked hard and believed in his talent. Hackman's journey is a powerful reminder that success rarely comes without struggle. For years he dealt with the ups and downs of an industry known for being unforgiving, but he kept going. Eventually, his persistence paid off. Hackman became known as a dedicated and honest performer, able to give his characters depth and emotional truth that set him apart. The traits that made him an outcast at the Pasadena Playhouse had now become his greatest strengths, as Hollywood slowly but surely took notice. Hackman's story shows how important it is to not let other people's opinions define you. He didn't give up when things got hard, and as a result, he built a legendary career that continues to this day. Even now, Gene Hackman's journey from a young Marine with a far-off dream to a famous movie star shows us that success is possible if you're willing to work for it. Gene Hackman's legendary career. From breakthrough roles to retirement, Gene Hackman's career is marked by a series of remarkable milestones that made him one of Hollywood's most respected and versatile actors. From his early breakthrough role to his retirement, Hackman's journey is a Hackman's rise to fame began in 1967 with his breakthrough role as Buck Barrow in Bonnie and Clyde: Good Afternoon, This is the Barrow Gang. If everyone will just calm down, no one will get hurt. The film, which was directed by Arthur Penn, was a big hit and earned Hackman a lot of praise. In the role of Buck Hackman, the older brother of Clyde Barrow, played by Warren Beatty, Hackman brought warmth and sincerity to the character, making Buck a sympathetic and believable figure even though he was involved with crime. Hackman's nuanced performance struck a chord with both audiences and critics, earning him his first Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. This recognition made Hackman a rising star and showed that he had what it took to become one. Following the success of Bonnie and Clyde, Hackman's career took off, but it was his role in The French Connection in 1971 that cemented his reputation as one of the best actors of all time. In that gritty crime thriller, Hackman played Detective Popey Doyle, a police officer who was determined to bring down a heroin smuggling ring and was always looking for justice, even if it meant being unpredictable and sometimes cruel. Hackman's intense and real performance as one of the most famous characters in film history captivated audiences and showed that he could bring raw emotion and depth to his roles. His performance earned him the Academy Award for Best Actor, which was a career-defining achievement that showed how talented and dedicated he was. The film's success and Hackman's Oscar win cemented his place as a leading man in Hollywood. Just 3 years later, in 1974, Hackman showed his versatility once again with a critically acclaimed performance in The Conversation is a psychological thriller directed by Francis Ford Coppola. Gene Hackman played Harry Call, a surveillance expert who was troubled by paranoia and guilt. Call was not the loud and rude characters he had played before. Instead, Call was quiet and deeply introspective. Hackman's restrained performance showed the character's inner turmoil with subtlety and precision. The role gave Hackman a chance to explore the psychological complexities of guilt and moral ambiguity, which showed off his range as an actor even more. Many people praised Hackman's performance in The Conversation, which cemented his reputation as a great actor. In 1978, Hackman took on a new challenge by starring in a comic book adaptation as the iconic bad guy Lex Luthor, co-starring with Christopher Reeve as Superman's main enemy. Hackman brought a charming and mischievous energy to the role, and his performance as Luthor was a perfect mix of humor and menace, making the character both entertaining and scary. As for Hackman, some actors might have been hesitant to play a comic book villain, but he jumped at the chance and gave the character more depth and charm. His performance was a big part of the success of the Superman movies, which became cultural icons and introduced Hackman to a new generation of fans. He played Lex Luthor again in the sequels from 1978 to 1987, solidifying his place in movie history even more. Hackman's career reached new heights in 1992 when he starred in Clint Eastwood's Unforgiven. In this revisionist Western, Hackman played Little Bill Daggett, a cruel and morally ambiguous sheriff who often used violent and oppressive methods to keep order. Unlike traditional Western heroes, Little Bill was driven by his own sense of justice, added depth and complexity to the role by playing Little Bill as both a scary bad guy and a man who thought he was doing the right thing. His commanding presence and nuanced performance earned him widespread praise, including his second Academy Award, this time for Best Supporting Actor. Unforgiven went on to win the Academy Award for Best Picture, solidifying Hackman's reputation as one of the greatest actors of all time. Even in the later years of his career, Hackman continued to give great performances. In 2001, he played Royal Tenenbaum in Wes Anderson's critically acclaimed movie, The Royal Tenenbaums. What's Wrong with You? I Thought Maybe I Was Dying. Hackman played the strange and deeply flawed patriarch of a dysfunctional family. His performance as Royal was both funny and heartfelt, showing the character's attempts at reconciliation and redemption. Hackman's ability to balance comedy and drama made his performance stand out in a cast that also included famous actors like Ben Stiller. Hackman retired from acting in 2004 after a long and successful career that spanned more than 4 decades. Unlike many actors who struggle to step away from the spotlight, Hackman chose to retire on his own terms, marking the end of an amazing career that left an indelible mark on the film industry. I Come in Here Like You Ask, and Hackman had 2 Academy Awards and a lot of memorable roles. He had reached a level of success that few actors could match. Even though he retired, his performances are still studied and praised by filmmakers, actors, and movie fans. Gene Hackman's career milestones show how dedicated he was to his craft and how he could bring authenticity and depth to every role. From his breakout role in Bonnie and Clyde to his unforgettable role in Hackman's roles as Little Bill Daggett and Unforgiven, consistently showed how talented and versatile he was. His role as Lex Luthor in the Superman series and his heartfelt performance in the Royal Tenenbaums showed even more of his range as an actor. Hackman was dedicated to telling stories and becoming fully immersed in his characters in every role he took on. His ability to easily switch between genres, from crime dramas to westerns to comedies, made him one of the most respected and admired actors of his time. I have seen witnesses to what you did when you tried to escape after hitting me on the stairs. Even though Gene Hackman stopped acting, his incredible body of work lives on. His performances continue to inspire audiences and aspiring actors, showing the power of stories and the lasting impact of a truly great performer. Through his hard work and talent, Hackman has left an indelible mark on the world of cinema, making sure that his legacy will live on. Thanks to Gene Hackman's many contributions to the art of film, people will remember and honor him for years to come. His personal life has included 2 important marriages, each representing a different chapter in his life. His first marriage was to F.A. Maltese in 1956, and they were together for 30 years before getting a divorce in 1986. During this time, Hackman was still trying to make it as an actor in Hollywood, and he faced many challenges. Maltese stood by his side. Through the ups and downs of his early years, Hackman's choice to become an actor was not an easy one, and the instability that often comes with an acting career caused him a lot of problems. With Maltese's help, Hackman worked hard to make a name for himself, and his years of hard work paid off when he finally got noticed for his role as Buck Barrow in Bonnie and Clyde in 1967. The success of Bonnie and Clyde was a turning point in Hackman's career, but it also brought him new problems. As Hackman's fame grew, so did the demands on his time and energy. As an actor, he had to work long hours, travel a lot, and have unpredictable schedules. While Hackman did well in his job, the intense pressures of Hollywood eventually took a toll on his marriage. Maltese, who had been his constant source of support during his early career, now had to deal with the complexities of life with a famous person. Despite their best efforts to stay together, the stress became too much, and the couple split up. They finally decided to split up in 1986, which marked the end of an important period in Hackman's life. After 30 years of marriage, Hackman had to deal with the emotional and personal challenges that come with such a big change. However, he remained dedicated to his career and continued to give powerful performances that earned him praise from critics and recognition in the industry. While his professional achievements were often in the spotlight, Hackman kept a low profile. When it came to his personal life, Hackman liked to keep his relationships out of the public eye. He would rather focus on his work than deal with media speculation. In 1991, Hackman found love again when he married Betsy Arakawa, a classical pianist. Arakawa brought a different energy into Hackman's life, giving him stability and companionship. By this time, Hackman was already a well-known figure in Hollywood, having won multiple Academy Awards and a long list of acclaimed performances. Demands had ruled Hackman's life for a long time, but now he could put his own happiness first. His marriage to Arakawa reflected this change, marking the start of a more settled and fulfilling chapter. Arakawa's background as a musician brought a sense of calm and creativity to Hackman's life. While Hollywood fame often comes with a busy social scene and constant public attention, Arakawa's world revolved around the quieter pursuit of artistic expression. Hackman embraced this more balanced way of life. Their relationship was based on mutual respect and support, and both Hackman and Arakawa valued their privacy. Unlike many celebrity marriages, which are constantly watched by the media, Hackman and Arakawa chose to keep a low profile and focus on their personal life together instead of being in the spotlight. Hackman's decision to step away from the public eye became even clearer when he retired from acting in 2004, but You Told Me renounced all. Hackman ended his illustrious career and turned his attention to other things after decades of giving memorable performances. Retirement let him spend more time with Arakawa and enjoy the peace and quiet of life away from the stresses of Hollywood. The couple settled into a peaceful routine and often spent time at their home in New Mexico, far from the glitz and glamour of the entertainment industry. Hackman embraced the chance to live a quieter, more private life, while although Hackman's career was a big part of his public image, his relationship with Arakawa gave him a sense of fulfillment that went beyond his work on screen. The couple's long-lasting marriage was different from the short-lived relationships that are common in Hollywood. Hackman clearly valued the stability and companionship Arakawa brought into his life after the emotional challenges of his first marriage and the demands of his career. Even though Hackman retired, his legacy in Hollywood lives on. His roles in classic movies like The French Connection, Unforgiven, and The Royal Tenenbaums are still praised by audiences and critics alike. However, people who knew him well often talk about how grounded and humble he was. Even though his work earned him many awards and praise, Hackman never let fame get in the way of his personal values. That he was my son's farmer and that his commitment to his relationships, especially his marriage to Arakawa, shows how dedicated he was to living a balanced and meaningful life. Hackman's experiences in his 2 marriages also show how resilient and growing he was as a person. His relationship with Maltese showed the persistence and determination of his early years, when the dream of success often seemed far away. Through the ups and downs of building a career, and Maltese's support was very important for Hackman to stay on track. The end of their marriage was painful, but it was also a new beginning. In contrast, Hackman's marriage to Arakawa represented the happiness and fulfillment he found later in life. Having already reached his professional goals, Hackman went into this relationship with a sense of he was mature and wise, and the lessons he learned from his past helped him commit to building a strong and lasting relationship with Arakawa. Their marriage, which is based on mutual respect and shared values, is still a testament to the power of love and friendship. In the end, Hackman's personal life shows how resilient and honest he was, which defined both his career and his character. Through the ups and downs of his relationships, Hackman stayed true to himself. Hackman handled the challenges of marriage and fame with grace and humility. His decision to put his own happiness first, especially in his later years, shows the wisdom that comes with age. Give a man a vote, but don't let him use it, as the saying goes. While the world may remember Hackman for his unforgettable movie roles, those closest to him will remember the man who loved his relationships and embraced the joy of a life well lived. Hackman has continued to live a happy life with Arakawa in the years since he retired. Their quiet existence away from the public eye serves as a reminder that true happiness often lies in the simple moments shared with loved ones. While Hollywood may celebrate Hackman's film achievements, it is his unwavering commitment to his family and his desire to live a meaningful life that truly define his legacy. Gene Hackman's early controversies show the temper behind the talent. Gene Hackman's career in Hollywood has been a testament to his incredible talent, dedication, and willingness to take on complex roles that required the very best of his abilities. But like many great actors, Hackman's time in the business was not without its share of controversy. For example, when I was a little boy, there was an old black farmer who lived down the road from us named Monroe. Hackman's acting skills earned him praise and a lasting reputation in Hollywood, but his sometimes difficult personality caused problems on set during some film productions. One of the most talked about examples of this was when Hackman filmed The Royal Tenenbaums, 2001, directed by Wes Anderson, and known for its strange characters and lighthearted tone. Behind the scenes, the film had its own problems, including Hackman's tense relationship with Anderson and the cast. Hackman was known for being direct and honest about his work and the process of making movies. While some people admired this, it made things difficult on set, especially when working with directors who had a different style. For example, Wes Anderson, whose films are known for being quirky, detailed, and often playful, was very different from Hackman's more serious and grounded personality. And a girl that young? What in the world do they talk about? Anderson's sets were famous for encouraging a collaborative and almost a family-like setting where actors and crew were encouraged to share their thoughts and work together creatively. However, Hackman's strong personality sometimes got in the way of this, especially when filming The Royal Tenenbaums. Reports say that Hackman's behavior on set during The Royal Tenenbaums caused a lot of tension between the cast and crew, even though Anderson was the director and his style was well known in Hollywood at this point. There were times when Hackman got angry because Anderson's direction didn't help him achieve what he wanted to achieve in his performance. This difference in working styles made it so that Hackman's temper would sometimes flare. Even though he was known for being professional, he wouldn't hold back from expressing his displeasure if he thought a scene or direction wasn't meeting his standards. This caused a lot of awkward moments on set and left Anderson feeling let down. A well-known incident that added to the tension during filming of The Royal Tenenbaums involved an alleged verbal altercation between Hackman and Wes Anderson. The incident is said to have happened during a particularly stressful moment in production. when Hackman became angry with Anderson's direction. Several people who were present during filming say Hackman used harsh language toward Anderson to show his displeasure in a somewhat uncomfortable with the exchange because it was so different from the generally calm and respectful environment that Anderson had worked hard to create on his sets. Hackman's harsh words left a noticeable mark on the production. "Pray that I'm guilty of killing those girls. If I am, then your boys worked over a monster." Some cast and crew members even took sides, with some feeling sorry for Anderson, and others thinking that Hackman's anger was justified, were reasonable given the nature of the movie and how things were going. While it was clear that this wasn't the easiest moment for anyone, it also showed a lot about Hackman's personality as a whole. Hackman was known for being very dedicated to his work and roles, often putting his artistic integrity above all else. However, this same love for his work sometimes caused problems with other people on set, and his reputation for being blunt and not holding back words made it hard for him to get along with others. This was especially true in the entertainment industry, where personal relationships on set can be just as important as the talent itself. Even though Hackman respected the work and the people he worked with, his honesty and sometimes short temper didn't always make friends with other actors and directors, which led to tense relationships and sometimes awkward situations. This kind of behavior wasn't unique to the royal family. Tenenbaums either. Throughout his career, Hackman had been in a number of tense situations, where his bluntness caused problems with others. While Hackman was praised for his skill as an actor and his ability to give unforgettable performances, his no-nonsense attitude and short temper made him sometimes hard to work with in the highly collaborative world of film. Hackman's bluntness and occasional outbursts were part of what made him who he was, but they could also be a problem. His sometimes difficult behavior on set made his relationships with people behind the scenes more difficult. That being said, Hackman made amazing contributions to film. A new message from an electronic bimbo drew me to her site, so I checked it out a few times. What's the big deal? Even though he had problems with directors and co-stars, he was respected for his acting in movies like The French Connection, 1971, for which he won an Academy Award for Best Actor, and Unforgiven, 1992. Hackman was one of the most respected actors of his time because he could immerse himself in his roles and give each character depth. His behavior on set may have made some people uncomfortable at times, but it was always in service of his commitment to giving honest and meaningful performances. Many of Hackman's co-stars have said that his temper was a reflection of how much he loved his work. There were tense moments on set, but it was clear that Hackman's main goal was to give the best performance possible. His blunt approach to the craft wasn't an attack on anyone personally, it was just a reflection of the high standards he had for himself and the film he was working on. Now listen, communists and Jews, tell all your friends about this. Hackman was never afraid to say what he thought, which made him both a respected and sometimes controversial figure in Hollywood. Hackman was so dedicated to his job that he was able to create some of the most memorable and complex characters in movie history. Hackman's legacy is a balance between his amazing skill and the complexity of his personality. While some of his early behavior may have been hard for others to handle, it's important to remember that Hackman's uncompromising approach to acting is part of what made him such an unforgettable figure in film. His willingness to push boundaries and demand, even though it was sometimes controversial, Gene Hackman's performances are still studied and admired by aspiring actors and filmmakers, and his place in Hollywood history is safe. Gene Hackman's shocking will, why his $80 million fortune may not go to his children. Gene Hackman, the legendary actor whose career spanned decades and earned him immense fame, left behind a shocking legal situation when he died. Hackman made a controversial decision to exclude his children from the distribution of his $80 million fortune, his 3 children from his will. This news came soon after the mysterious deaths of Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa. In fact, the couple had been living in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where they were found. It was reported that Hackman's 3 children, son Christopher and daughters Leslie and Elizabeth, were not named as beneficiaries in his will. Instead, the actor named his wife Arakawa as the sole inheritor of his estate, a decision he made in 1995. Hackman's controversial decision to leave all of his money to Arakawa without mentioning his children was especially strange, since the actor had been open about having a tense relationship with his son Christopher. Hackman himself admitted in interviews that he wasn't present enough during his son's childhood, which was something he came to terms with later in life, though there were instances when it was still a problem. Reports say that Hackman worked to fix his relationships with his children over the years. His decision to leave them out of his will, however, raises questions about how those relationships had changed as he got older. Even though Hackman tried to fix his relationships with his children, especially his son Christopher, it seems that his final will still showed a significant level of estrangement. Hackman's decision to leave his children out of his estate was not only a legal matter, but also a deeply personal one that revealed a complicated and fusty history. The family drama that happened behind the scenes of Hackman's otherwise public career came to light soon after the tragic deaths of both him and Arakawa. The couple was found dead in their home in Santa Fe, New Mexico on February 26, 2025. The circumstances of their deaths were shrouded in mystery, and it wasn't until later that officials said Arakawa's death was caused by the haunt virus, a rare disease spread by rodent feces that she probably got in their home. Hackman's death followed soon after. Hackman and Arakawa were both found dead within days of each other, which makes things even more complicated because of the simultaneous death clause in their will. Despite these legal problems, Hackman's children, especially Christopher, are the closest living heirs to his fortune, and are therefore central to any possible claim to the estate. Hackman's relationship with his children wasn't always smooth, but it's clear that they were the most direct heirs to his substantial wealth, whether or not they claimed it. As the court case goes on, it will become clear whether Hackman's decision to leave his estate to Arakawa was final, or whether his children will be able to challenge the will and claim a share of their father's $80 million fortune. In the end, the fate of Gene Hackman's estate is still unknown, and the complicated family dynamics that played out during his life are now at the center of a legal battle that could shape the future of his children. Hackman had a complicated relationship with his children, especially his son Christopher. The decisions made in Hackman's will show this. It is still unclear whether Hackman's children will be able to get some of the estate back, but one thing is clear: they will not be able to get it all back.